The following podcast is part of the Underdog Sports Podcast Network. For advertising information or to find more great podcasts, visit us at www.theunderdogsports.com and follow us on Twitter at RealTheUnderdog.
Okay. Well, just for the record, we got the sunny in Phoenix too. 52.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Sunny in Phoenix podcast, a monthly podcast where we keep you up to date on everything Phoenix Suns basketball. My name is Charlie Erling, and as always, I'm joined by Mitch Krmpotich.
I don't know about you, but I feel good.
I don't know about you, but I feel good.
I feel good, too. I'm very refreshed after this month-long break from the podcast.
Yeah, I don't think the intention was to wait this long, but life just happened, and it's the off season, so yeah.
That's right. You know what? I'm just going to drop this right up top here. Some life updates. Started a new career, and we're having a baby.
Yay.
So
exciting.
Yes. Insert more applause. But yeah.
I can do that in post.
Thank you. That's what's going on. So we've been kind of running around like crazy lately. And we were just back in the old South Dakota for a week as well. So
The Southern
D. We should be back to pretty much normal from here as we come up on training camp in a couple months. We'll be, I'll guarantee, more than one episode between now and training camp. How's that?
Yeah, I think we can safely guarantee that. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
As much as a 1-year-old will allow me.
True. But on today's episode, we'll be talking about the new jerseys that the Suns have, a couple two-way contracts on the team. Then we'll talk training camp battles. That should be a fun one. There's a lot of minutes up for grabs in the rotation, and we'll have to see how those land. And after that, we will finally be recapping our summer league experience from this summer.
Shoutouts are not in order because we didn't have a bad question. I'm also not certain about the future of the bet question. We'll do it in some way or another, but I don't even know where Twitter, I mean, it's not even called that anymore, where it's going to be by the time the season starts. So I guess keep an ear out on the pod for what we end up doing there. But no shoutouts. Shout out to everyone who listens. Thank you for sticking with us at this point.
That's right. Okay, we'll start things off. Let's just talk about the new jerseys real quick. A little homage to the sunburst jerseys that we got a taste of last year, but updated quite a bit. What do you think about them?
Yeah, I like them overall. I think they're a huge upgrade over our usual, just home and away, or I don't even know the names of all of them, but just the usual white and purple jerseys. Huge upgrade. They are a bit minimalist when it comes to the sunburst in general. I suppose that's kind of modernized. But yeah, overall, I think they're good.
Yep, I do like them too. The ones with the PHX on them that we've been used to over the last few years, I think they had their run. They were all right, but this one it feels a little more personalized to the Suns compared to just more of a generic type jersey. So I'm happy for that. But in general, man, I'm sick of how many jerseys that we've just been cycling through now, and it's not going to stop. There's going to be 4 new jerseys every year or whatever it is. I'm not a fan of that. I think do we not say Twitter anymore?
I'm still saying Twitter. Still saying Twitter.
It's Suns jersey tracker or Suns uniform tracker. I'm not sure of the exact account name. It's one of those two though. They had it was just a chart of every jersey that the Suns have had, and since we both moved down here to Phoenix, we'll say I think it was the 2012 or 13 season was my first one down here. we've had just as many jerseys between then and now than the Suns had since they started as a franchise.
Wow.
So, and that's going to just keep going crazy. I wish, like, these are beautiful jerseys. I like them. I'd love to stick with them for 10 years, but we're not going to.
Right.
Yeah, the Valley jerseys, we could have kept those for a decade. Everybody would have loved them, but
yes,
they're
absolutely.
gone.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think it is a little too much. I agree. The turquoise jerseys. I loved the turquoise jerseys. Those were some of my favorites ever, and I'm bummed that we're wearing them for one season.
Yeah, now you can buy it for $50 on like the Sun shop. They're half off. They're not coming back is what that means.
Maybe that's what I need to do, actually. But yeah, it is a bummer. The Valley jerseys are a great example, especially because we were so good in those jerseys.
Right.
But yeah, the court and the uniforms, like, they were a huge hit. I know that the standard purple and white jerseys will stay for, let's see, our last round. It was 4 years, right, that we had just the plain purple and white ones.
Yeah, I think so.
I want to say it was. But yeah, just the different alternate uniforms. I do think they're rotating too quickly. You know, I understand the other side. I know that it makes a lot of money.
Right.
I know that it's cool to introduce new stuff. I know, Oregon, I feel like, was kind of the one that started this.
Good call, yeah.
Because they were always introducing new jerseys and helmets and whatnot, which was cool, but I do think it's gone a bit overboard.
Yeah, I agree, and that's a really good call to Oregon. I remember, man, back when I was in high school, they had started doing that sort of thing, and maybe even before that, I'm not even sure, but
yeah,
they always had new jerseys, new helmets, and they were always looking cool. They had that, the Phil Knight Nike connection or whatever that was.
Right.
But yeah, that's good stuff. And one more thing about when the Suns introduced the jerseys with the photo shoot and all that, D-Book wearing a T-shirt under the jersey.
Unexpected.
You think that's a thing?
I don't know. I wonder if he got like a bunch of tattoos and he's not ready to reveal them yet or something. I mean, that I don't think that's really the case. But yeah, I was kind of surprised. I didn't know what the deal with that was. It may have been like an homage to Cam Johnson or something.
Maybe. I saw a picture of him and Mikhail at the Team USA practice, and Cam Johnson has quite the farmer's tan. It's actually impressive. He always was wearing the T-shirt, but at that practice, he was sleeveless, and his the upper arms were pretty light compared to the rest. That guy wears a T-shirt everywhere. You can tell.
Yeah, that's fine. Sleeveless in Seattle. Yeah, that is funny though. But yeah, I noticed that, and I did not know what was up with it.
I wouldn't be mad at it. I kind of he rocks the 90s style, and that's late 90s basketball right there, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I'm not against it either. I think he can pull it off.
Maybe a big baggy one that goes like all the way down to the elbows. That would be a real.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and we would have to get the old Allen Iverson shorts too.
Yep.
At that point.
Throw on some and ones, and you're ready to ball.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the trends are just amazing to see how much it's changed over the years.
It is. We're going to be going shorter and shorter shorts, I believe. Back to the old grape hugger era.
I don't know if we'll ever quite get to that.
We'll see.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm the last person you should ask about fashion trends, so who knows?
Yeah, I'm far out of that game, and I grew up in South Dakota, so everything we were onto was 5 years late in the first place. So you know. All right, moving on. We'll talk about we have two-way contracts signed to the team right now. Room for one more, but Saben Lee, obviously a holdover from last year. We have him back on a two-way, and then just recently we signed Udoka Azubuike. Is that anywhere close?
That seems right.
Thank you. All right. He is a big man. So there's another center in the chamber for the Suns to rotate in, but he was drafted. He was a first-round pick. I believe it was by the Bucks or maybe the Jazz, one of the two. But he just never quite got tread with the NBA. But maybe this is a good move because it's just a mountain of a man, and those guys can be useful in a lot of circumstances still in the NBA.
I mean, it seems like there's a trend here that we're just signing big guys who aren't that great at basketball. And I mean, my guess is that's probably more for practice situations, just to get, be able to practice playing really physically. Like, that's good. So that's kind of my guess with how that's going and why we're signing guys like this. I mean, it's going to be good for Ayton, too. He needs to get pushed around in practice. That'll be really good for him.
Yeah. Drew Eubanks, then Metu, and then Udoka here. Those are big physical guys, and it's not going to be easy for Ayton. I mean, when JaVale was here, JaVale's big, but he was pretty thin, and I don't think he was beaten up on DA. Jock and Busy last year, he had some size on both of those guys, but this will be a little bit different for him in training camp this year in practice. So that should be interesting, and yeah, we'd all love to see DA get a little more physical, and maybe this will help.
Yeah, and at the same time, these guys are enforcers that you bring in off the bench during a game. They're not going to play very much. They're not going to score very much, but they're going to go in there and foul a guy and send a message or something. So you need that every once in a while. And we've seen over the years, you need backup bigs.
Yes, 100%. It seems like you can throw in guys to play wing and play off ball, but you always need a guy who can handle the ball enough to bring it up the court, and then you need a big guy out there to grab rebounds and protect the rim.
Yes.
Those are two important things, big time, and those are the two ways that we have. Those depth pieces, those insurance pieces, it makes sense to me. But along with the two-way contracts here, Suns still don't have a G League team. So that kind of limits these guys to an extent. But Matt Ishbia says next year we should hopefully be getting one. So that was just nice to hear overall, even though it's not going to be happening right away this year. The plan to bring one back while we were the only one who in the whole league who didn't have one. Yeah, it just makes sense to do that. And I was happy to hear that's going to go down. Yeah,
I'm curious where he's going to put it, because I feel like the Northern Arizona Suns being in Prescott, that was not a great move, I don't think.
No.
I've heard a lot of people say it just should be in Phoenix still.
It should be in Phoenix or one of the suburbs of Phoenix or Tucson.
Tucson, yeah.
Or, if you're going to go north, put it in Flagstaff then.
Yeah. Tucson might not be bad, actually.
Yeah.
That's not a terrible idea. But, yeah, I'm glad we're going to have one back. And it's such a testament of how cheap Robert Sarver was that we didn't have a G League team. But, yeah, it'll be good to have one. And I'm excited about it. We'll see. I saw some people talking about if you could name the team, what would you name it? I thought that was kind of fun because, we know the Suns were named through a little bit of like a fan contest type deal. So sure. Do you have, off the top of the dome, do you have a name for the G League team?
Off the top of the dome? It'd be cool to go with the Gorillas.
That'd be fun.
The connection's there. That would be fun. Why not?
Yeah. Huh. I like that. I was just thinking of like Arizona themed stuff, like the Roadrunners or the Cacti or something like that.
Yeah, Roadrunners would be cool. I'd like that.
The Haboobs.
Would you want the team out of the state? Like, does Albuquerque have a G League team there?
I don't think so.
That's like the closest decent-sized city out of Arizona that might not have one, you know?
Vegas.
Well, well, I think they have their sights set a little higher than Vegas.
Yeah, they do. Albuquerque, I would not be opposed to. I think that's kind of cool. I feel like New Mexico is, I just feel like there's not necessarily like a huge Suns market in New Mexico. I don't know for sure, but if you're a listener in New Mexico, you can tweet at us at Sunny and PHX Pod and let us know, or you can X at us or whatever you call it now. We are still there for the time being. So yeah, if you know more about New Mexico, let us know. But I think that could be kind of cool. I still think I would prefer keeping it in state though.
Yeah, my vote for if you want to actually fill the stands, I'd say do it down in Tucson. Personally.
I think Tucson would be nice too. You know, second biggest city in the state. Still lots of Suns fans. U of A is there.
Yeah, that's got to be a basketball culture down there.
Oh, know? For sure. Yeah.
Yeah, that's my vote.
Yeah. No, I think that would be great. But yeah, we'll see what I kind of like the Gorillas as the name, or the Filibertos.
Ooh, that's a match made in heaven. Just Bertos, get all of the Bertos franchises to get in and buy the G League team, like the naming rights, the stadium rights. That'd be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
It would be awesome.
It would be awesome. It would. No.
Imagine the deals that they'd be giving out too at all the Bertos restaurants.
Oh yeah.
Like show your ticket, get a giant breakfast burrito that you know you can't finish.
The refried bean drop.
See? That's why we have you here, for those marketing ideas.
That's we all know how great I am at marketing. So
yes. All right. Moving along, let's talk some training camp battles. I personally can't wait till we get to the preseason to just see how these guys are getting thrown into the rotation, but until then, we'll just talk about it. Starting small forward. It seems like that's where you slot someone in, assuming that we're starting Beal and Booker at the guard spots. You know, it looks like another forward is going to be necessary in this lineup. So all eyes are on Josh Okogie, one of the few returners left from the team, I suppose. And then he'll be going up against Bates-Diop and then Utah. So that's kind of how I see that first battle going down.
Yes. My guess is Josh Okogie is going to be there at first for his defense. But by the end of the season, we may see Yuta Watanabe as the starter because of his three-point shooting.
Yeah, that's the exact train of thought I was having. Okogie, just when you look at our lineup there, you need a guy who is going to step up and guard the opposing team's best player, and that's going to be Okogie. And I like how he fits with those guys too, and especially if he's going to keep up a decent three-point shooting year. You know, I'm not expecting him to blow the doors off or anything, but if he's getting open shots, I'd like to hit him. I'd like to see him hitting them at a pretty similar pace to last year. I think that's not too unreasonable to hope for. But, and then another thing I do love about him is he can put it on the floor and get to the rim. I'd say better than Bates-Diop and Watanabe. I like those there, and I see that being the way we do start with it. But again, we're talking training camp battles. This is going to be a fun one. Okogie's undersized compared to these guys, but he's obviously a beast. He's strong for his size, so there's going to be some headbutting going on there, I think.
Yeah. I think this is going to be an important one because whoever it is that's in this position is going to be open most of the time. So it's going to probably come down to who can knock down shots. So if Okogie can knock down some shots, his defense is going to be awesome. But if he's not knocking down shots, someone else is going to be in there.
Yep, that's true. And when I think about the bench, knowing that, we'll talk about this in a second, but we don't know who the point guard off the bench is going to be, who's going to be running that second unit. That's going to be up for grabs with Cameron Payne gone now. Obviously, there's a spot open there. I feel more confident with Bates-Diop and Udoka just more taking care of the ball, more efficient than what Okogie would do in a situation where he might be asked to score a little bit more or handle the ball a little bit more. I just believe that those two guys are a little more safe and with the potential to go put up some buckets and knock down shots too. So I don't know. I like Okogie starting the season for sure.
Yeah, no, I think those are all good points. And, oh, yeah, the bench. It's going to be fun.
Yep. And I think the biggest question off the bench is going to be point guard, like I just mentioned. If it's not Booker or Beal running the point, right now, it looks like it's Jordan Goodwin, who's maybe the only guy who you can say is a true point guard on our entire bench. But it's him. We saw Damian Lee play tiny bits of point guard at times last year. And then we have Saben Lee on his two-way contract, who was impressive at points last year.
Yeah. Well, I believe we have already heard that the plan is for Beal to run the point.
Yeah.
So my guess is Jordan Goodwin will probably be the backup point guard. Just like you said, he's like an actual point guard. And he has NBA experience. So does Damian Lee, but he's much less of an actual point guard. So my guess is Goodwin is going to be that guy. But again, Booker or Beal is probably going to be on the court at almost all times, and KD basically runs the point a lot of the time too. One of those three, at minimum, will be on the floor probably at all times.
I agree. The one thing I really like about Goodwin, even compared to Booker and Beal, is like point of attack defense. Being the guy guarding the pick and roll and all that. I like that, and I don't know if we're going to want to ask Booker and Beal to do that 40 minutes a game or, 30
That's
plus
true.
minutes per game. So that's where I see him, making his money, getting in there and playing good defense. And it seems like it's going to be him. It's Summer League. He looked great in the game that we got to see. And then he turned his ankle I think it was in the second quarter of the game, but pretty early on in the game. And he was done after that. There was no fooling around. He didn't play any minutes in the later game or anything like that. He was done. So that made me feel like, okay, they do have a plan for this guy. He must be at least in a position battle to be getting some minutes if they had thought they had seen enough like that. Especially when our rook, Kamara, he played a ton of minutes.
Yeah. And he looked good.
He did.
I think you made a good point, though. Defense is going to be what gets these guys on the court as far as the bench goes. And I think essentially what's going to happen is we know our starters are most likely going to build a lead. The bench's role is going to be able to hold the lead. That's going to be it. It's not going to be to extend it most of the time. It's going to be limit damage, most likely.
Yep.
So defense is going to get you there.
And yeah, that's just a common theme. You got to play defense and you got to hit threes. It seems like every move we made kind of went right along those lines. I'm not calling Udoka a world-class defender by any means, but the shooting is where he's at for sure.
Right.
All right. Then I suppose we move on to KD's backup, the backup four. And again, Udoka, Bates-Diop, Then we got to throw in Metu here, as well as Bol. I mean, Bol is on this roster for some reason. I don't think he's going to be cut during training camp or anything like that. We signed him for a reason, and I don't know how he's going to fit in, but it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think Utah and Bates-Diop are going to be the guys here, and it'll probably just come down to whoever shoots better, which, I mean, that's going to be Utah. But, again, he might be starting eventually, so then, you throw a Kogi in this, but he's more of a small forward anyway, so, yeah, I mean, Bates-Diop has more athleticism and defense. Utah shoots better. It's going to be one of those too. But yeah, this is a challenging position. And Bol, I don't even know. Like, I have no idea what they're going to do with him.
We could throw out some pretty giant lineups with guys who can shoot it, handle it, pass it a little bit. I mean, would it be insane to have Ayton, Bol, and Durant out there as a front court?
Yes,
it could happen.
Think it would.
Just think about that, though, man. We could do that. That's three 7-footers who all bring a little bit different things to the table, but they're all very long and very athletic.
Yeah. It's wild.
Who knows? I don't think that'll be a lineup that's able to qualify for a lot of those like lineup tracking stats.
Right.
But I wouldn't be shocked if it happened at some point just to see what happens.
I mean, yeah, Frank Vogel has to be curious at least.
Yeah. And then Metu as well is a guy who has been grabbing some minutes in the rotation through his young career too. And I think he's going to potentially bring something to the table, maybe not at the 4, but maybe as a small ball center type guy. Another one who's just kind of a beast. What is he? 6'9", 230, 235, yeah. But he'll get down low and bang.
I see him in the Biombo role.
Right, yeah. And he's an inch taller than Biombo, even.
All right, we'll take
Biombo playing center at 6'7". I think he's actually only 6'7".
Yeah.
But it's crazy. And he's unsigned too, isn't?
Yeah.
He hasn't signed anywhere. I don't think Terrence Ross has signed anywhere. TJ Warren hasn't signed anywhere. So, man, that's kind of crazy that's what we were rocking in the playoffs last year.
I know. Though I do believe we have one more two-way spot open. Don't we get 3 two-way contracts this year?
Yes.
So, I mean, any of those guys, put them on a two-way. I would not mind it.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's move it on and just quickly wrap up with the backup center talk. I don't think there's going to be much debate to this. It's going to be Drew Eubanks logging most of those minutes. Yeah. He's kind of proven himself as well. One of the more trustworthy, dependable backup centers in the league, and we obviously liked him a little bit more than Landale, I think. So the coaching staff must see this as an upgrade. Yeah,
he's still young, but I like him. Drew Banks, I imagine I will be calling him.
Yes.
So yeah, that one's fairly easy. And then, like you said, I mean, we could see some small ball center with Metu. Maybe we see a little Bol in here, but it's going to be Eubanks for the most part.
Yeah, I don't have much more to say on that. I'd be surprised if the Eubanks and Ayton didn't split all 48 minutes for most of the year if they're healthy.
Totally.
All right, let's wrap it up. Summer League recap. So it was our first year back in a couple years together, at least.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, it was a quick trip. But all in all, it was really nice to get out there and see a Suns rookie have a great game. See Jordan Goodwin, who we mentioned earlier, look real solid in some limited minutes there. And a pretty fun game against the Bucks overall.
Yeah, it was good. It was quick, but we definitely made the most of our time. So I was happy about that. The games that we saw were good. A lot of people, never seen that many people at Summer League before. So that was wild. I mean, the tickets were sold out, so we had to use SeatGeek to get them on the secondary market. We've never had an issue just walking up and getting tickets from the box office before, so that was a shock. Yeah, I mean, I know that's good for the game, but we were a little frustrated because we've always said, you know, a lot of people say Summer League is the NBA's best kept secret. And yeah, it's not a secret anymore. People are there.
No, not anymore. And I wonder if, like, is this because of Wemby or is this just how it is now? I'm a little, I don't know which way to lean on that one.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's because of Wemby. We've seen other names. You know, I always bring up the Lonzo Ball year and how packed that gym was for his game. And
True.
Still, like, it was not anywhere close to sold out. I think people just realize how great it is. And Wemby helps, too.
Yeah. So it started on a Friday, and then we showed up Saturday, right?
Yes.
So when we showed up there, they said tickets are sold out for today and tomorrow.
Yep.
That was shocking.
Yes.
When we were I watched Wemby's debut the night before we went, and the announcer said, like, there was a line to get in today and we sold out. And I almost didn't believe him. I was like, really? It doesn't look that jam-packed in there, but I was a little nervous when we got there, and like I had just completely forgotten about the secondary market at the time. I was like, dude, we just drove to Vegas and we're gonna have to turn around and leave. That's what it felt like for a second to me. But man, I'm happy that it's gotten so big time though. It should be like that. It's a great experience.
Oh, it is. It's awesome. Like, we've been praising Summer League for years and years. I mean, we've gone, 7-8 times now. Like,
yeah,
we love it. But yeah, everyone else has figured it out. But yeah, like, it was fun. It was great to see Kamara have a good game. From a basketball standpoint, my biggest takeaway is this year, more than ever, it has been so apparent the difference between guys who have NBA experience and guys who don't. Goodwin just looked a step ahead of everyone in the minutes that he played. Maybe not Taco Fall, but he's like 7'6", so whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, Goodwin just looked better. And, you know, I told you, I'm like, he clearly has played at the NBA level before. He's used to the speed of the game.
Yeah.
And that just stood out to me more than ever before this year.
Yeah. And you can almost say the same thing about Kamara because he had 4 or 5 years. I can't remember.
Yeah.
But he looked like a grown man out there compared to a lot of those dudes, and he played like it too. So seeing him be thrust into a role like the main guy on the team was pretty much what the rest of Summer League was for him, and still playing some pretty solid basketball and putting up good numbers. It just gave me a lot of faith in, if this second round pick does happen to get minutes for our Phoenix Suns this year, I have faith in him in those. I could see that from him in Summer League. In limited minutes in the NBA, he looks playable.
Yeah, I mean, his experience is great. So totally happy with that. Yeah, good to see him play well. And It was interesting. We saw some of the rookies struggle too. We saw Brandon Miller play for the Hornets, and he just struggled a lot. And now I know there's questions about him. I know some people are not sold on him. I think he'll be okay. I don't know if he's going to be a superstar, but I think he'll be okay. But yeah, he struggled. So it was interesting to see, Brandon Miller compared to Kamara or someone like that.
Yeah. And we watched a good chunk of, was it Pistons and Rockets, I think?
Yes.
Is that one of the last ones we caught? And then, there's a lot of nice young talent there. Cam Whitmore, who fell to, was he the 20th pick?
Yeah, something like that.
And then he brought home Summer League MVP, I believe. You can just see some guys, they look prepared. And then other guys look like, wow, this guy doesn't have a chance. But
right.
You can see that, and especially if they have a year under their belt in the NBA, it does look like it's obvious.
Makes a difference. It was also cool to see Bradley Beal there. He was watching our game and a few rows in front of us, so that was cool. We always talk about how we end up running into someone, and I think Beal was probably the closest we got to with that this year.
Yep, probably. Yeah, so, and then Vogel was at that game too, wasn't he?
That's right. Yes, he was.
Yep. Now that he's actually our coach and I've seen him in a Suns polo, I don't think I'm going to call him Joey Gatto anymore, though.
Yeah. Oh, we saw Dylan Brooks too. He was talking to Fizdale.
Oh yeah.
Who I keep forgetting is on our staff now, but
yeah. Our loaded staff. We got some talent on our staff this year. This should be. I'm excited. Before we started this pod, and I was thinking, what should we talk about today? I just wanted to do a temperature check. Let's just end with that. What's your prediction from the season? How excited are you? Just that kind of thing.
Yeah. I think I'm about as excited as you can get. I feel extremely good about this team. And yeah, I think I'm at a 10 out of 10 on the confidence scale. I'm probably more confident in this team than I've ever been.
I'm in the same boat too, but I will say I've honestly been just a little jaded since the championship loss. I've just been a little bit down every time, but the roster we have right now, I mean, we traded for Kevin Durant, we traded for Bradley Beal, and Devin Booker and DeAndre Ayton are still here. I'm hyped. I have high hopes for this team. I think we'll be a very good regular season team, and if we can keep this gang together and build chemistry and stay healthy all year, we got to be competing for a championship. That's what I'm feeling.
The only thing that can beat us this year is injury. That's how confident I am.
Yep. Yeah, knock on wood.
Mm-hmm. All right, with that, we'll move to the non-sports section of the show, and we are doing just a classic sparkling water update. Where are you at?
Oh, I'm sticking to the classics, man. I got LaCroix lemon, LaCroix lime. It's gotten to the point where when we pulled into town, into South Dakota, we stopped at the grocery store, and I bought a case of sparkling water to go stick in the in-laws' fridge. That's where my life is now.
Are you doing the pamplemousse still?
I don't think I've ever done pamplemousse.
The grapefruit. They call their grapefruit pamplemousse.
Oh, no, that was a brief stint. That was I think we just got that in a pack.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was just brief.
Okay. What about the key lime?
Key lime also recently got in one of the big Costco packs. Mm-hmm. And that one, I'm so old, Mitch. I think that one gives me a little heartburn.
Oh, okay.
So I stay away from the key lime, even though I do enjoy it.
Yeah. Huh?
I think it gives me a little heartburn, so I stay away.
That's too bad. It's a good flavor. I think I've officially made the full switch to Polar. I think that's my favorite now. They just have some nice flavors.
Are you brand loyal at this point? Because I know you've always gotten around when it comes to the sparkling water brands. So.
Yes, I have. I would not say I'm brand loyal. I would say I go with whatever's on sale most of the time.
Fair.
Because I'm not picky, but Polar has been on sale recently, and they just have some good flavor options. So I know they have some seasonal stuff for the summer. Blueberry lemonade, I've been a big fan of that one. Cherry limeade has been good. Cranberry and lime, classic. They did a blood orange lemonade, which actually wasn't my favorite, but I'm glad they did it. And then they do a raspberry pink lemonade as well. So I've been a big fan of all of that stuff, just with it being summer and everything.
Like, those all sound so delicious and so sweet and tangy, but it's sparkling water. How does it...
Right, it's not. The blueberry lemonade one just tastes like blueberry. Like, there's no lemon to it, really.
Okay.
But it's good still. I really like it.
Yeah. You know, I wish LaCroix would be a little more adventurous with their pairings.
Yeah.
They don't really do that. It's just kind of one flavor. But then they have, like, the limoncello and then key lime and some, like, variations. Yeah. I don't know. I do like the, like, raspberry lime and that sort of thing. I do appreciate that. Yeah. Well, maybe one of these days I'll have to grab a case of Polar.
It's good. It's worth it.
All right. Okay. I think it is time to wrap this thing up. We thank you for tuning in. If you made it this long, you're a real one. One of the few. No, I shouldn't say that. We thank you all for tuning in, though. Hit us up on Twitter /X or whatever, at Sunny and PHX Pod. And YouTube, Sunny and PHX Podcast. We'll see you in a week or two. Go Suns.